Welcome to today's 5 Good Minutes on the 10 Commandments. Today we'll be considering the 10th commandment with Dan Shields.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the 5 Good Minutes podcast, or if you're brand new here, a special welcome to you as well. My name is Dan Shields, and I head up the worship program here at Orchard Hill Church, and I'm going to be your host on this podcast for this coming week. Today we'll be continuing our series on the 10 Commandments. We're going to be looking at the last commandment of the 10 Commandments, which deals with coveting. In Exodus 20, it says, "You shall not covet your neighbor's house, your neighbor's wife, his male servant, female servant, his ox, his donkey, or anything that is your neighbor's." Well, let me ask you a question, a serious question as we really begin this study. On a scale of 1 to 10, how satisfied are you with your life? Or I could say it a different way. On a scale of 1 to 10, do you wish you had just a little bit more? A little bit more money, a little bit more time, a little bit more satisfaction, a little bit more security? And I can continue that question about your job or your marriage or your friends, your body or your car, your school, your bank account or your 401k, just about every area of life, really. Most of us, if we're honest, we wish things were just a little bit better or that we had just a little bit more. Now, let me ask you another question, and this might seem like an odd question, but it really does have a point. And the question is, why? Why do we want more? And why are we dissatisfied? What causes the desire for more or better? And why is it that even when we achieve our desires, we soon feel dissatisfied again? You know, all of us have experienced that. Nothing really seems to satisfy us for long. Take money, for example. Most of us, if we really got down to it, wouldn't say that we needed to be rich to be happy. Most of us would feel like we'd be happy if we had just a little bit more, like 10% more maybe. I mean, think about that. If you had 10% more income, do the math. Wouldn't that make a big impact on your life? But what do you think would happen if you did get that 10% magic raise? Would you be satisfied then? Well, probably not. The reality is, after a short time, you'd probably say again that you wish you had 10% more. J. Paul Getty, the famous oil tycoon of the last century, was the richest man in the world. Once, in an interview, he was asked, what was one thing in his life that he didn't have that he wished for? And his simple answer was this: more money. Now think about that for a minute. Let that really sink in. He had more than he could ever spend on all of his pleasures. But what did he want? He wanted more. Well, we all see the brokenness of that, but the reality is, we are all just like that too. We all want more. We're never really satisfied. So what causes that insatiable desire for more? Well, sociologists might say that it's because we're bombarded with ads. Some people say that we get hit with up to 10,000 ads a day. And the way that ads work is they first paint a picture of dissatisfaction. That is, we're not as happy as we should be. And then the solution: if we just bought this one product, we would be happy and fulfilled. Well, that's true, but I don't think that's the real cause. The real cause is much deeper, much more insidious and malignant. And it's not something that comes from out there. It's something that comes from the inside. The reality of humanity is we all have an incurable sickness called sin. The Bible tells us that in the garden, a perfect world with perfect pleasures, Adam and Eve had want for nothing. But they gave that all up for the one thing that they didn't have, the forbidden fruit. And that decision has infiltrated all of our lives with endless seeking ever since. We wander aimlessly through life trying to find that one thing to make us happy. And it's a quest for the unattainable. The cure cannot be found in this world, because we all know that even when we gain possession of our desires, we remain dissatisfied. That lust for what we don't have always rears its ugly head again. So the question is, how do we gain true satisfaction? And how do we break the cycle of desire, acquisition, satisfaction, and desire again? That covetousness that they talk about in the Bible. Well, over the next week, we're going to look at 4 biblical perspectives that will help us beat the endless desire to acquire, and how God has a plan to deliver us from this bondage.
Thanks for joining us. Be sure to check out all our content and podcasts on Orchard Hill Plus. You can find that and so much more on our website or the Orchard Hill app.